Alright, check. check. Let's make sure my mic is working and my croaky voice can be heard. With this going forever. Oh, we actually are streaming. I didn't realize that we were live. I was just testing things out. Okay, I want that. I want the live monitor. Okay. I think if I can see these. Hello, I think we're live now. Oh my god, my voice. I'm so sorry, everyone. My voice is so croaky today. I'm just trying to soldier through, really. That's what I'm going to claim, at least. I'm going to see if I can... Whoa! I'm going to... See, I can't see how many people are viewing, or if we have anyone in. So, hello all. Wait, can I actually look at this on my own phone? I wonder. Am I live? Can I get some chatters to confirm? Wait, let me just zoom out here a little bit so we can see what's going on. Hello, people. Hang on. Ah, back up north. I am back up north. I am live. Hello, all. Wait, I got to knock on the door. It's my wife. Give me 1 second. Hi. You knock? You knock? No, I didn't. Oh. Hello, people. All right, sorry. I've lost my voice. Somehow, between Friday and today, I've lost my voice. So, I actually wasn't going to go live for this reason, but I just decided to anyway. So, apologies for being very, very croaky. I'm going to do a math methods exam paper. Yeah, hi, Wobby. I hope things are good for you still. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. And again, I'm going to apologize about my voice like 17 times, but it is what it is. All right. I don't really know, like, I meant to have live metrics. I think it says 35 people are watching, but I don't know how true that is. Have you tried through 2025 HSC? Have I tried the 2025 HSC Advanced? Wait, has that already been? I thought that was still like a week or so away. I've not tried it. Hello. Hi. Alright. Well, I guess we just start answering math questions. Depending on where people are at, / where people are up to, some of this, hopefully, maybe I'll teach. I'm in Queensland at the moment, so that's where I currently am teaching. But I'm going to try not to dox myself and release anything more than that. Oh, that's really interesting. 6, 7. I don't know what that means. I've never heard that before as a math teacher. All right, so we got question 11. I need to get used to how the window looks on the vertical, so way people can still see the questions. I might need to make this whole thing. Wait, I'm going to wiggle it around here a little bit. Sorry, everyone. Let me make it a bit smaller. That way, you guys can see the whole question. Hang on. That's maybe better. Hopefully that's better for people. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Don't dox yourself either with your first and last name. That's also a bad idea. Can I have my phone in class? No. That's pretty much not. Yeah, pretty much. I think phones are actually like statewide banned everywhere. All right. First question's pretty easy, to be honest. Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Let's again. Let's not dox each other. Otherwise, I'll start blocking people. Is this extension 1? No, this is math methods. Math methods is the equivalent of advanced. What's a derivative? Well, what's a derivative? That's a great question. A derivative, basically, is... It's like a mathematical operation we perform on a function to find what's called the instantaneous gradient at a point. Can you teach general maths? I can, yes. So, is this VCE? No, this is QCAA. I mean, that wouldn't fit in the title, but this is QCAA. But if you do VCE methods, QCAA methods based their curriculum on VCE methods, so it's basically all the same stuff, right? First, second derivatives, the stat stuff's the same, the tech requirements are the same. So I think you could learn something. If you have specific questions about that, feel free to let me know. Oh, thank you very much, Oscar, for the 20 roses. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Solve 3x squared minus 6x. Yeah, that is basically 0. What's that going to be? 3x squared minus 6x. That's going to be 0 and, what, 2? That'll be the solution to that. 6x minus 6 is equal to 1. All right, so I'm doing VC methods. I'll watch along. Yeah, good idea, Fraser. And like I said, any questions, feel free to ask. And again, for everyone watching, like my voice is dying, and I am sorry about the fact my voice is dying. Do you do any questions on tan or trick stuff? I'm sure tan and trick stuff will come up in this paper. I'm actually pretty sure this is the 2024 methods paper. I'm pretty sure quite a lot of this actually is, it's like surprisingly stats heavy. At least it surprised me how stats heavy it was. Bro, this is a joke. WTF is this exam? This exam's actually pretty easy in my opinion. But people don't like it when I say that. You know, easy with an asterisk, I should say. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It depends how much prep we have. Let's do question 11, which is the first short response question. For people that haven't seen, I've actually posted the entire multiple choice section in a whole video. It is in my bio. So if you click on my bio, the whole multiple choice section's there alongside a bunch of specialist maths content. So if you have specialist questions, there is a heap of stuff on specialist in my bio as well. I posted entire full exam paper videos. This got to be like 80% solve rate. No way, heart rate. Yeah, no, this is simple for me. This is meant to be 80% solve rate, 100%, right? It's very straightforward. So it's also worth, we can't see because of the zoom. It's also only worth 2 marks. So it's you know, it should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, we'll see how far you get the probability stuff. I don't know, like these papers always take longer because I yap a lot in some of these lives, and I also answer a lot of questions. So apologies about that. All right, let's start. Determine the second derivative. Oh, we got y equals, let's just write the question back out so we can all see in case I accidentally cut it off, which I sometimes do. The question is, and I cut off the question there, the question is to find the second derivative. To find the second derivative of a function, we have to start by finding the first derivative, okay? What reasonableness means in maths, yeah, I can definitely do that. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of questions with that sort of cognitive verb involved in this paper as well. So I start by differentiating once. We can write our first derivative with a single dash, right? There's different notations. We can do dy dx. I'm going to do y dash to save myself a little bit of space. This is tech free. Great question, Ali. This is tech free. Full algebra, no calculator allowed, right? This is A levels or what? This is the equivalent of A level mathematics. I've actually taught both year 12 and year 13 A-level maths and further maths. This is, like I said, one of the most common things in every maths course around the country is differentiation and calculus, the whole thing. So I differentiate once. To differentiate, it is a very simple pattern, okay? If people don't know what differentiation means, don't worry about that. We can get to the theory on this in a second. Just learn the process first, okay? It's a very simple pattern. I take my power. I am going to bring that power, I'll use a different color, let's use pink, bring my power out the front, and I'm going to subtract 1 off the power. If I do that pattern, I get 3x squared, right? 3 comes out the front, 3 minus 1 gives 2. I do the exact same thing here. When my power comes out the front, we are going to multiply. 2 times negative 3 is going to give a negative 6, and again, I subtract 1. I simply just get x, okay? What's the best way to learn rules and laws and memorizing them? Alfred, honestly, there's no cheats, it's just practice, like in part, right? There's songs can help, right? There's different mnemonic techniques, but ultimately practice, you'll be fine. For the common ones, you'll do them a bunch. Already done most of the past years, but thank you so much for responding, I appreciate it. Yeah, okay, nice, good job. All right, so 6 minus 6x, x equals 1. Vectors treaty, whatever, yeah, your name, yeah, 6x minus 6 equals 1. So I differentiate a second time. I follow the same pattern. Again, power comes out the front. 2 times 3 gives 6. Minus 1, I get x. And in this case, right, I got power of 1. That comes out. 1 times 6 is going to stay as simply negative 6. Oh my god, this whole time you're writing the answer. I'm so sorry. I didn't click. Yes. I'm so sorry. Vectors. Yeah, you nailed that. Like immediately. And there's my solution, right? 1 minus 1 gives 0. X to the power of 0 gives 1. I'm left with my answer. That's 2 marks. 1 mark. My voice is so bad today. I'm so sorry. For people, thank you for listening to me croak along. I get 1 mark for this. I get 1 mark for this. Each ticks half mark in my brain. But I should say that there's no half marks in the external. And my wife is here to join us. Everyone, let's welcome. Okay, you don't want to come into the live.
Where's the drill?
Wait, the drill.
I just want the drill.
That's so random. I feel like you need to tell the live why you want to drill.
Because I'm trying to do something for Ty. Can you just let me have it?
Yeah, I don't know where the drill is.
You
Sorry.
actually don't know?
No, I'm going to say, what did we drill last? Goodbye. Alright, anyway, math TikTok, the world is healing. I agree, that Frank guy, maths is healing. Are you in grade 12? Whoa, hang on. Who said am I in grade 12? That's crazy. My voice is so croaky because of my age and my wisdom. Sir, can you write PSMTs for us? I actually can't. That is illegal. Can you teach me how to do simultaneous equations better after this? Yes, certainly can. Your parents must be so proud. Hang on, I'm not in year 12. I'm a qualified teacher. For those that are asking questions. Wife, says that Frank guy. Yeah, because I'm married. Everyone. I'm glad you think I look young. So can you help me in probability, specifically in sample proportions? I'm sure that'll come up. That might even be the next question, to be honest. I feel like there's so many questions. I've only got through the first one, and that is even mostly cut off. What state am I in? I'm in Queensland. Can you explain PSMTs? Of course I can, Connor. PSMTs are simply a problem-solving and modelling task. What more do we possibly need? A lot more, but you know that's what I've got for now. Are you a genius? Some people would say so, but they would be wrong. I have my general maths external exam in a week. Any tips on study? If it's in a week, I would say, ideally, you'd already have a study plan. You know, you can always follow my TikTok. I'm sure that'll help with all problems. And I would recommend make it very goal oriented, right? In all seriousness, make it very goal oriented. Make sure that you're going to be ready. Could you do funny area under curve? I'm pretty sure that's coming up. I'm going to say all integration stuff should be coming. Can you explain the theory of differentiation? You don't really need to know the theory of differentiation, but I can if I get time. How to evaluate Leslie matrix PSMTs? I actually know of a Leslie matrix PSMT, which is interesting. Leslie matrices are great. Yeah, they're great. I don't know if we need to say any more questions. Let's go on to part B, and I'll definitely try to answer. Are ranks important for methods? Ranks in what? In terms of in class? No. Overall, yes. Is this level of maths like HSC New South Wales? Yeah, it's HSC Advanced New South Wales is what they call it. Thoughts on, what's PMI? It's big in year 12 spec, I heard. What's PMI? Please explain what PMI is, and then I can let you know. Whatever I say, good. Your IQ must be off the charts. Interesting. My wife would disagree, but, you know, I appreciate that. My wife is smarter than I am. She is genuinely a genius. Alright. Proof by mathematical induction. Yeah. It's going to be in every single exam has a proof by mathematical induction question. So yeah, it is huge. It is absolutely huge. You need to know how to do it with dividing, with summation, with lists, like all of it. And I'm sure this is a methods paper, but I'm sure if you get time, you guys have a lot of questions today, which is awesome. I will try to answer as many of them as I can. Do you do tips for Maths General? Look, maths tips are kind of all in the same bucket, right? Goal-oriented study, write a list, make sure, like, you should know by year 12 kind of what you need to get done to get ready for your exam. So make sure you have a list that's goal-oriented, not time-oriented, so you can also switch off because it's a marathon, not a sprint. Is math induction a methods concept? No, it's not. Is this special? No, I can do specialist, but people keep asking for more methods content when I do lives. So we've done methods today. I've done, like, almost every live has been specialist maths because I actually think specialist, hot take, for me, I find specialist easier because I've just done more of that type of maths. All right. We're doing part B before I answer any more questions. So the chat answer each other's questions whilst I'm doing this. Whew. I'm out of breath because of how much I've been talking. So this might be a bit pixelated, sorry. Use your result from A to calculate the value of the second derivative when x equals -1. I'm going to cheat a little bit with my notation. For people that are good with function notation, you'll see the parallels to writing it like that. I simply put in -1. I get 6 multiplied by -1 minus 6, and I get negative... Ooh, I don't know why I wrote the 2 first. I get -12. So part B, relatively easy. Methods exam in 9 days. Tips for crunching the exam. I mean, that's actually why I'm doing this live, because the methods exam is in 9 days, right? That's part of it. So my dad taught me long division and long multiplication. That's really funny. So for the exam crunch, do all the past papers, do all your mock papers. If you have access to QTE papers, do the QTE papers. Whatever you have access to, I would just specifically practice doing exam papers 9 days out. I wouldn't worry about notes and textbook stuff unless it's very specific on a question you want to know. Otherwise, it's papers, papers, papers. Okay, more derivative / integral questions. I'm sure they're coming. All right, so we've done that. Hello, what's going on? Hi, Twize. Tips for, do you have any tips for exam 2? Again, like for all maths papers, actually, general method specialists, for all people asking for tips, we are so close to exam season. We are like, less than 2 weeks away for most of us. So it is at this point, you should be doing almost all of your study should be past exam papers. There are so many. There's Discord groups. You can find stuff everywhere. The QCAA papers, VCE papers, WACE papers, New South Wales papers. You should just be grinding through as many past papers as you can. It's about tech active. Yeah, tech active, you need the tech skills. And realistically, at this point, if you can't use your calculator, that is partly on your teacher a little bit, to be honest. But also, I would say it is partly on you. So it's kind of both. But you should be good at the calculator by now. Trying to learn how to do all the calculator stuff in a short period of time is going to be tough. I might actually do a whole YouTube video on every single tech active skill ever needed on the specialist paper, because I actually did a conference with that earlier on, late last year, actually. All right, let's do part C, then I'll answer more questions. Is there any websites where I can get these exams? I want to see how hard maths in Australia. Yeah, 404, great question. A, where are you from? 2, yes, this paper comes from the QCAA Maths Methods website. This is the second hardest course you can do in Queensland. The hardest one is specialist. So if you want to see how hard it gets, I would pick specialist maths, although I actually think it's overrated how difficult it is. But again, that upsets people when I say that. Sorry. All right, so part C. And I know these questions are cut off. I just can't seem to get the resolution right today. But, we're always trying to fix things here. Determine the x and y coordinates of the point on the graph of y equals x cubed minus 3x squared, for which the rate of change of the first derivative is 0. All right, this question actually a lot of people got wrong, which might surprise people, but it's because the wording of the question is confusing. When I do this question in tutoring, actually, as well, a lot of students make a mistake with this one when they just do it like off the rip and they just try to smack the answer out rushing into it. If you rush into this question, you might make a mistake. We are determining the rate of change of my first derivative. That's what all this means. So we are actually finding when our second derivative is equal to 0. Surprise. For some of us, that may come as a surprise. So we are going to actually do our second derivative equal to 0, which is 6x minus 6 equal to 0. I now want to solve for this, right? I add 6 to both sides. I divide both sides by 6. Hopefully that rearrange wasn't too quick for people. And I get x equals 11. Doing the x and y coordinates of the point on the graph. Yep, so I get my stationary point is at 1. Yes. The wording of question is trying to confuse us. Yes. Stationary point's at 1. I feel like that's... Whoa! Sorry, I've got rid of all my windows by accident. I feel like that's pretty good, okay? So once I get x equals 1, I can simply just substitute that back into the original equation to get my y-intercept. That is, y is equal to... my equation is just here. So that is y is equal to... I put 1 in place of x cubed. I get 1 cubed minus 3 times 1 squared. And I get minus 2. And honestly... I need so much water. I got a nice little pink cup here. Look at that. This is the type of Kmart quality that I'm sure will make everyone jealous. This is Christmas sales, 50 cents for 6 glasses. That's a steal. And that's why I drink from a pink cup, because, who's going to pass that value? I'm a maths teacher. All right. I did say I'd answer questions once we're done. The answer, I should say, I'll put it in coordinate points, right? Because I said coordinate points. The answer is 1, comma, minus 2. A very messy way of writing that. How do some people find specialist easier? The reason why I personally find specialist easier is because the scaling, they're not trying to force the scaling up in the same way they are in methods. So you get clearer questions, in my opinion. And if you can do the skills, I think you're fine. The hard thing is, can you do the skills? But I actually think learning skills in maths in particular is one of the easier things. You say the exam is 9 days. I thought it was like 3 weeks. For methods, I think... Ooh, I actually don't have the exam timetable. I thought it was about 9 days. How did you get that as a derivative? How did I get 6x minus 6 as the derivative? Because we're finding the second derivative equal to 0. We found our second derivative up here in part A. It's the 14th of November. Oh, for Queensland. Oh, okay. Good. Maybe it's specialist in 9 days then. I'm out of the loop for the exam timetable. Methods is 3 weeks away. Oh, that's good. Someone said their exam's in 9 days. I just assumed it was methods. Spec is 9 days. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. We have a very wordy question, and I'm struggling to fit it. Okay, I'm gonna... I don't know. I'm gonna fiddle with this a little bit and see. Making it big is harder. Do I need to make myself smaller? Maybe that's the solution. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so let me see what you guys can see here. I think it's going to not be too bad. It asked for the first derivative. It did, Liam. It asked for the rate of change of the first derivative. The rate of change of the first derivative is the second derivative. That is where it would confuse you. So even though it did say first, even though I understand why you thought first derivative equals 0, you would be wrong and you would get 0 for that particular question because, like I said, the wording was intentional to try to mess you up, and that was worth 3 marks. So 1 mark was literally just realizing, second derivative equals 0. Let's go to question 12. Question 12 says, I'm going to zoom out. If you guys can read that, great. If you can't, I'm so sorry. It says, each day over a 3-day long weekend, a family spends a pointer on a circular board to decide whether they will spend the day at the beach or bushwalking. The circular board consists of 3 equal sections. Hot take, bushwalking is better than the beach. So if this was me, my board would actually look like this. It would look like bushwalking. I'd be wanting to bushwalk twice as much as I would go to the beach. Which might upset my parents because I grew up by the beach, but that's just how I just find nature prettier and it's less hot. There's a benefit there. All right, Liam, that's silly. I kind of agree. This is like a bigger conversation, right? But things you should be preparing for if you're doing the methods exam and the specialist exam a little bit too. Sorry about like my voice dipping into a mumble. Like I have to push quite hard for my voice to be audible because I've lost my voice, but that would never stop me talking, unfortunately. So, yeah, they're trying to do things that will confuse you a little bit more in the specialist paper. All right, let's just do the questions. Apologies, I will do the questions. So, we could do this question a few different ways, right? We could do a tree diagram, or we could picture a tree diagram, because the first question says, determine the probability that the family will spend all 3 days bushwalking. That is the equivalent of if you were to make a tree diagram, which you do not need to do, okay, because I think it's a waste of time. But if you were to make a tree diagram, you'd be selecting bushwalking, bushwalking, bushwalking. If we know anything about tree diagrams, we multiply along our branches, right? To get bushwalking, bushwalking, bushwalking. If I multiply along my branches, I'm multiplying the probability of bushwalking by the probability of bushwalking by the probability of bushwalking. Amen. Hey man, have a lovely day. You deserve it. I appreciate that. I have had a lovely day. So it's nighttime for me now. And yeah, it's been great. So, all right. Probability of 3 bush is simply equal to 1/3 multiplied by 1/3 multiplied by 1/3, which is going to equal 1, I'm so sorry for cutting the question off, over 27. If you guys can't read the question, that's like the best comment you guys to make so I can actually fix what I'm explaining. All right. We're here. Okay? We got our answer to the first one. It's very straightforward, okay? This is just a 1 mark, multiply a third. It's a third cubed, right? So a third cubed to get 1 over 27. The second question talks about binomial probability. So this is where, like, if you are watching this as a year 11 student, like you could have done part A. Part B is going to be very difficult because we haven't learned about binomial probabilities yet. Binomial probabilities is saying exactly 2, okay? Exactly 2 days we spend at the beach. I'm going to define my successes as a beach day for the sake of this. So I'm going to say, okay, the probability that I get P of X equals 2. I get 2 days at the beach. I now need to know a little bit about my binomial probabilities. Okay, so my binomial probabilities is basically NCR. Then it is going to be P to the power of R, and then it's going to be Q, or 1 minus P to the power of what is it? It's N minus R, right? N minus R. All right, so I threw my pen away. Let me zoom out. Where'd my pen go? I literally just threw my Apple Pencil on the floor. I'll zoom out so you guys can read that, okay? And you can quickly fire in comments about what NCR is if you don't know, or whatever questions we have. Okay. Seriously? seriously. How? This reveals a little bit about what I'm like as a person if I drop my pen on the floor and it's so messy that I just literally can't see it. Alright. Wow. What? How is this possible? Okay, this is getting embarrassing here. This is 2024. This is 2024. Are you serious? As I rummage, like aggressively rummage. All right. Oh, got it. All right. So, methods. This is methods unit 3 and 4. All right. So, had to redo the whole question with 5 minutes to go. Can you quickly explain tech-free way of doing NCR without factorials? Hell yeah. Apologies. Lost my breath for a second there. Trying to find my Apple Pencil, which disappeared on the floor and turned invisible instantly on side. So, how do I do NCR without factorials? Well, we have a few options. One option is to use what we call Pascal's triangle, which some of you may know about already. Year 11 should know about Pascal's triangle. So, let me first fill in my N and my R and my P and my Q. For those that don't know, P is the probability of success. That is the probability that I do in fact go to the beach. This is, this is fully tech-free. No calculator allowed to solve this probability question. So, and CAS is not active in the paper 2 either. Q is my, oh my god, my voice, sorry. Q is the chance of fail. This would be the chance of bushwalking in this case, which is 1 minus the chance of success, okay? So, if I fill everything in, my options are 3. I get 3C2. P is going to be chance of going to the beach, so that's going to be 2/3 to the power of 2, and then it's going to simply be 1/3 to the power of 1. I'll just write power of 1, right? We get 3 minus 2, we get 1, just so you guys can see where all my numbers come from. Is this for HSC or WAC? This is for QCAA, so there's so many curriculums. Guys, they're all the same. They borrow from each other. If there's a question in VC that hasn't been asked in QCAA, they go, oh, that's a great idea for this year's paper. So there's no harm in looking at different states, okay? Depends on your time and how much you have time to study this close to the exam 3 weeks out. I wouldn't recommend it. But, alright, so I get 3C2. This comes from Pascal's triangle. I'm going to scribble, and I'm going to delete it, basically. My third row of Pascal's triangle, some of us may know, is 1, 3, 3, 1, okay? So this is going to be term 0, term 1, term 2, term 3. Oh my god, sorry, I need to zoom out. So 3C2 is this number here. That's how I figure this out without using my factorial notation, okay? Is I get some lines of Pascal's triangle. Hi, Isla. I would recommend learning Pascal's triangle third row, 1, 3, 3, 1. It comes up so often, not too bad to remember. And then from there, obviously, you can make row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7 if you need it. You normally won't get in a tech-free paper past like row 6, 7. Past row 6, 7. Got him. All right. So, we've changed to specialist. Complex numbers. That's not the paper we're doing today, though. We're doing this. So, yeah, listen. Oh, thank you very much, Hugh Toddy, for the hug hearts. Thank you. I don't know, like it doesn't give me the name of what this is. The face with the heart in the hands. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so 3C2 is 3. That's what all this means. 3C2 is 3. Third row. Second term, which is really like the third term because you count from 0, it's 3. So I'm going to delete all of this here. I hope that answered the question of how do I get my numbers from without using factorials. This is how we can do it without using factorials, which means I simply have 3 multiplied by 4 over 9. That is 2 squared divided by 3 squared. And multiplied by 1 over 3. So, nicely about multiplication, my order doesn't matter. These two are going to equal 1. 3 times a third gives 1. So I'm literally just left with 4/9, and I do not need to do any hard maths, really. I'm going to write my answer here. I have to pull across. Oh, that didn't quite work so well. Wait, let me just write it like that. There's my answer. So, think about it. Tech-free. Make your life easy. Yes, we still need Pascal's triangle for part A. For part A, really, to be fair, that was just a tree diagram question, basically. All right, can you explain it like Donald Trump? I'm not gonna do that. Not Dale. Thank you very much, Itchy One, for the rose as well. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So, Part 3. Let's read out part 3. Fewer than 3 days will be spent at the beach. Okay? That means that my probability, I'm finding the probability with X is days at the beach, that is going to be less than 3. Okay? So we can use some like factorial notation basically to do that. When we have these less than 3 options, one way to do it is this is the same. I could do like px equals 0, px equals 1, px equals 2. I could add all those together. I just did px equals 2. Like, that could save me some time, but it's probably faster. Normally for these questions, it's faster to simply just do 1 minus p of x equals 3, okay? So if we are less than 3, that is the same as it being basically not 3. So if I rule out 3 days, then 2, 1, 0, that's going to be the rest of them. I can do 1 minus p of x equals 3, if that makes sense to everyone, okay? Most of which don't require you to use Pascals and only the combinations needed. Yeah, true. This was on my mock exam. Nice. All right, so mad easy. I agree, Snarby. I agree. It is mad easy, as the kids say. All right. So we do 1 minus. We just did like x equals 2, right? That was 3c2. This is going to be 3c3. That is going to be p, which is going to be 2 over 3 of r, which is to the power of 3, and then it's basically 1 over 3 to the power of 0, which equals 1 power of 0. I can just get rid of it, basically, right? So now I wind up with 1 minus 3c3. Well, if these two numbers ever equal each other, we don't need to do any thinking. No Pascal's triangle, nothing. 3c3, 5c5, 20c20, all of them, literally all of them, equal 1. If the numbers ever match, it equals 1. If it's 0, it equals 1. And if I get like 10c1, I get 10. Right? There's some patterns to this that we should know. Hugh genuinely failed. Appreciate the shout out. I'll chuck a follow. I appreciate you. I swear you got 0 marks. I don't understand what's happening here, but thank you. Thank you very much, Molly Clark, for sharing the live as well. 13%. Let's go, guys. 13%. Listen, better than 10%. Can't argue with that. So I wind up with 1. That's a highlighter. I do this all the time. That is 1 multiplied by 2 over 3 cubed. I'm just going to cut to the chase here because I think we know where this is going. I am going to wind up with 2 cubed. That's 8. 3 cubed. That is 27. So I wind up with 1 minus 8 over 27. 1 minus 8 over 27 is going to equal 19 over 27. And that is my answer for question 2. All right. It's calculus. Like, honestly, when you're doing methods and you turn to a calculus question, there should be a feeling of like, oh, good. Like, it's not confusing. We should know what to do. Like, the nice thing about calculus, whilst the algebra stuff is hard, it's the easiest thing, in my opinion, to prepare for because it's just skills, 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 skills. Tom, you shared the live with more than 5 friends. Everyone, round of applause for Tom. That is fantastic. Thanks very much, Tom Bayo. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So, methods is so easy. Yeah, I agree. I also think specialists is easier. So, come at me. I will say though, like where's the words coming from? The multiple choice for methods was surprisingly easy when I did that recently compared to the specialist multiple choice. So, I always struggle with algebra and simplifying answers. Swiggle, that's common. It's common, but you can practice. You can practice. Thank you, R3KS, for sharing the live. Thank you, Molly Clark, for sharing the live. Well, everyone's sharing the live. I appreciate. Wow, it's just people sharing the live is my entire feed right now. So I appreciate that. Round of applause for the whole chat. Good job, everyone. Very nice. If my voice was functioning, I feel like I'm making a bad impression for the current viewers because I normally, people in the chat who've been in my lives before can verify this. I normally, people compare my voice to, I don't know who's got a nice voice. People don't compare my voice to someone with a nice voice, but it's better than my throat breaking. So I need to take some water, basically. Way too dumb to understand this. Huge is my classmate. Oh, it's really nice, Snubby. Do you call Hugh huge? Because I do feel like you sound like Morgan Freeman. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate that. What year, what state? 2024, so last year's paper from Queensland. All right. Are you from Sydney? I am from New South Wales, but I'm not from Sydney. All right. Thank you very much, Caleb, for the rose. Again, thank you for all the shares as well. Don't spend it all at once. I appreciate that, Caleb. You're now the number 2 gifter, and you have the number 2 gifter badge. Wear that with pride. Hugh Toddy has the number 1 gifter badge. He should wear that with huge pride, because his name's Hugh, and that's spelled a bit like huge. All right, anyway. All right. Let's do this one. Capital F of X. Capital F of X, I'm not going to go too into it, but capital F of X basically implies you have to integrate, like typically, right? So, capital F of X, it kind of gives you the integral. We are simply going to integrate, and then we're going to sub in when X is 0, it equals 5. I'm going to solve. A very straightforward question for a whopping 3 marks. This is the same number of marks as all the binomial stuff we're doing before. So, let me zoom in so we can all see my integral. I'm integrating. I don't think I really need to rewrite it, to be honest. My answer is simply going to be f of x, capital F of x, is equal to the integral of that. If I integrate e to the 2x, I am going to divide by the derivative of my function up here. I know that's a lot, right? Like, the issue is with differentiation calculus, there's so many micro skills to do the main skill. If your micro skills are good, though, like, that's where that word easy comes from. All right, so I am simple. I'll write it out so we can all see what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to differentiate 2x. If I differentiate 2x, I get 2, so I divide by the derivative of my function at the top, and this part here is going to stay exactly the same because it's an exponential. For my sine function, well, if I differentiate sine, I go to positive cos. So if I integrate sine, I go to negative cos? Why am I having any self-doubt about this? I've done this like 700 times. It is. It goes to negative cos. It's negative, right, of course, because sine goes to positive cos. It's the opposite when you're integrating, goes to negative cos. And I'm going to divide by the derivative of the inside function, which also happens to be 2x. So I'm going to bring a half at the front of cosine and change it from sine to cos, by the way. And my 2x part here is going to stay the same. And then I'm going to add c. Once I do this, I can simplify this 4 divided by 2 bit. I'll just write it here, right? 4 divided by 2. Hopefully we can all see. That is going to give the answer of 2. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Alien Yen. Alien. Oh, Alien. That's really clever. Okay, sorry. Yes, thank you, because. Oh, wait, sorry. It's the one after general. What level of maths is this? Is specialist the highest level, Ramen? Specialist is the highest level. This is methods. Although, to be fair, both courses are, like, very similar, I think, in total difficulty. It just depends how much time you've got to invest into mathematics, which for some people isn't a ton. So once I've got this line here, I'm simply just finding c. So I know that this whole thing, f of 0, is equal to 5, which means I get 2e to the minus 2x, no, to the minus 2x, sorry, just 2e to the 2x, minus 1/2 cosine, oh, wait, hang on, I'm messing this up here already. I need to put the zeros in place of my x's here. 0 there, of 2 times 0. I'll zoom out so you guys can see. And I'm going to add plus c. All of this is going to equal 5, okay? So that's my equation there. That's the world's worst 5. Didn't even do maths, but I'm invested now. Thank you, Dinosh. I appreciate you. That's all going to equal 5. So, apparently I can't draw the number 5. Look, we all have our flaws. As long as I get the right answer, I'm fine. I can now basically figure out what happens to my equation when I get 0. These are like just some number facts we need. These are facts that we just absolutely must know. I need to know that any number, e included, to the power of 0 equals 1. I get 2 times 1, I get 2. I need to know that cosine to the power of 0 gives 1 as well. Sine 0 equals 0, so cosine 0 has to be the opposite. Please fix the 5. Alright, fine. Do you know what? Because you are so nice that you said please. It's not my best work. I don't know why I can't draw a 5 tonight. Like I said, we all have our flaws. Being self-aware of our flaws is a very important thing. Alright, so cosine of 0, this whole thing here, also equals 1. Okay, I wrote equals 1 and I highlighted, but it's fine. So, do you take question requests? I do, but normally people that join the live that says methods external exam want to watch me do the methods external exam. But if you're hanging around, if you get to the end of this, if you're hanging around, I'll definitely do message requests. 2 minus a half gives 3 over 2. If you don't know why it's 3 over 2, then I'll just explain. If you don't know, hey, no judgment. 2 is the same as 4 over 2. A half is a half. 1 minus 4 gives 3. That is where I get this answer, okay? It's a safe space. It's a judgment-free zone. This is the answer, I should say, specifically. Wait, I did mess this whole thing up. I'm so sorry. Hold the phone. Sorry, everyone, leave me alone, okay? I was getting too excited about doing fractions. I just didn't even read the whole question. Plus c equals 5. So, 2 minus half is still 3 over 2. I basically get 3 over 2 plus c is equal to 5. I can subtract 3 over 2 off each side, like so. I'm going to come across. C is equal to 5 minus 1.5. Well, 5 minus 1 gives 4. Minus half is going to give 3.5. 3.5 is the same as 7 over 2. Okay? So, I'm now going to write my final answer. Therefore, f of x is equal to... It is going to be very difficult. Oh, I can leave my answer here. Yep. It is 2e to the 2x minus 1/2 cosine to the 2x plus 7 over 2. Plus 7 over 2. That's my full answer there. Okay. I'm here. Oh, the nice... Oh, it's still an integration question. Okay. Let me sip. How bad is the new GoodNotes subject? Honestly, the update, I still can't quite get used to the update. My biggest issue with GoodNotes right now is that I'm doing this vertically on something that's meant to be horizontal. Wait, hang on. Hang on. Oh my god. I'm so silly. I was like, I swear, normally we can see more of the question. Oh my god. I've got an entire degree, by the way, guys. Did you guys know I used to be an engineer? And I apparently don't know how to... Now you guys can see way more. I'm going to do it vertically as well. Oh, damn, man. Someone said I'm a genius before. My credibility is ruined. Alright. So, now we can actually see the whole screen. Like, you can see what I can see. So I'm no longer going to accidentally write off the edge. Hi, Ocean. Am I in Sydney? I'm not in Sydney. Alright. Do the 2025 May papers for AASL to see how bad it can get. What's AASL? I can. That sounds like fun, to be honest. I'm happy to do as many papers as I can, right? It's just very easy for me to sit and do exams. It's on the same paper. It's just CUF. What's CUF? And have to go soon. It's the avalanche question, but that's okay. Interesting. Australian Sign Language. Oh. I'm confused. They post math papers then. Not a methods. Next year. But this seems fun to watch. I appreciate that, Jupiter. Yeah, maths, honestly, people hate on maths. Maths is fun. Maths is fun. And maths gets more fun as you go through the years. And it gets more satisfying, it's more rewarding, and then suddenly you end high school, you become an engineer, you look in the mirror and think, you know what? Maybe I want to be a maths teacher. And now you're here on a TikTok live. And it's all because maths becomes kind of fun in year 11 and year 12. If not for that, I'd be doing engineering and I'd be probably less happy overall. But, you know, more money. But money doesn't buy happiness, guys. You know, real. It's real. All right, so it's not extremely hard, but it's relatively similar to this. So it'd be cool. Yeah, I'd agree. CUF is complex unfamiliar. We just call them CUs, Josh. I just call them CUs. Complex unfamiliar. SF, CF, CU. That's how I grade it. Just keep it 2 letters and keep it simple. Please do normal distribution questions. There's one coming up next. Spoiler alert. All right, let's do this. Let's integrate. I'm going to integrate. Look, we don't have... Okay, so here's the thing, right? Specialist people might think, oh my god, we can do, like, substitution. We have all different techniques we could do. Partial fractions maybe comes to mind. All these amazing things. Well, partial fractions should come to mind, to be fair. Because we can get our answer a little bit more simply. We're just going to work this algebraically first. No, I'll just leave it like this. Alright, let's leave it like this. I'm going to do 3x to the power of 7 minus 2x, all divided by x to the power of 4, all squared. I'm simply just going to simplify my algebra inside my bracket first. If I do that, I can separate my fractions. I get 3x to the power of 7 divided by x to the power of 4 minus 2x divided by x to the power of 4. All in brackets, all squared. I can simplify. I can get rid of the fraction. No more fractions. Well, I will get one fraction, but one fraction, easy. It's a log. Or it's just make it negative powers and solve it. Like, not too bad, right? So, I simplify. I simplify. Wow. Life struggled. Nah, expand it first, surely. Nah, simplify it first, then expand. Make your life easy. Otherwise, I get... okay, here's the issue. Okay, person saying expand it first. Would love if you're my methods teacher. Thanks, Josh. I like to think my students are happy when I'm their teacher. Alright, so... Who said that? Calvin. No, okay, expand. We're debating. Expand, simplify, expand, simplify. Here's what happens if you expand. and why you should simplify first, for the people that are saying that, right? Brackets first, inside the brackets. Simplify inside the brackets first, always. If you expand, you get this. You get, wait, I need to see the question. You get 3x to the power of 7, which is huge, minus 2x. It is a full binomial all squared divided by x to the power of 8. I wind up with a situation where now I have to do a full binomial expansion, and it is really difficult for me to now simplify down my powers. Just use chain rule. It's integration. I can't use chain rule. And we don't have a method in methods to do a reverse chain rule because that's a specialist technique. So how can we solve with methods techniques? So this actually, I'm making my life way worse. What I have here, and you see I'm very passionate about this topic because I get this question a lot, and it's such a good question because we're thinking, and I love my thinking, but inside the brackets, simplify first. So I simplify first and I get something so nice. I simply just get 3x cubed minus 2 over x cubed all squared. Easy. Easy. Easier. Is maybe an important term, but it's like, it's not bad, right? I should be able to expand a perfect square, right? We have a process to do that. And you watch how nice this is. The question's been designed to become nice. If we expand this using our technique, right? Square the first term, I get 9x to the power of 6. I multiply my two terms and I double it, right? Twice the product. Well, look what happens. I do x cubed times 1 over, or 2 over x cubed, right? But you can see what's happened. If I multiply these two together, my x cubes are going to disappear. So I simply just wind up with my middle term becoming minus, no, I almost messed it up. 3 times 2 gives 6, and I double it. I wind up with minus 12 in the middle. Okay? So it's suddenly actually really nice. And then I square the last term, and I simply wind up with plus, because if I, negative, it's going to become positive, plus 4 over x to the power of 6. So, for people that were in the bucket of simplify, I thought it was differentiation. I get that, right? It says dy dx. We think differentiation. We have to read the question. We are trying to find y, and we're given dy dx. So we're reversing the differentiation. We are simply, or anti-integrating, or anti-differentiating. My least favorite term in maths is anti-differentiating, but that is actually what we're doing here. Like, probably the easier way to see it. All right, so I get to this. This is the answer for dy dx. I'm trying to find y. It is now time to integrate. So I'm going to grab everything in a bubble. And hope my voice doesn't just, Actually, to be fair, maybe it's a good thing if I, can't talk. The people, in my life might appreciate a day of silence from me for a change. All right, I'm now going to integrate. So y is going to be equal to, I raise the power by 1, divide by the new power, I get 9 over 7, x to the power of 7. Well, it's just 12, right? It becomes just minus 12x. And again, it's negative. So I could write this, for people that want to see this in one step, as 4x to the minus 6. So I now raise the power by 1. I get negative 5. I divide by the new power. And I wind up with dividing by negative 5. And I get an equation of minus, wait, it's red. Minus, hang on. People that get lost, feel free to comment, please. I get minus 4 over 5x to the power of 5 plus c. Okay? And if people got lost, you have to tell me. Otherwise, I think wait, hang on. Do I have 5,000 viewers right now? Live? Or is that can't be real. There's not 5,000 people right now. Right? On a maths live? Where did the 12 come from? I'd love to answer that question. 300. Oh, okay, good. I was like, what is happening? It's my total views of the whole night. Okay, that makes more sense. I was getting concerned that people had lost their minds. All right, so 300 for me. Good, 300. Yeah, cool. I actually can't see, my current live viewers. It doesn't show me. It's meant to show me somewhere. It doesn't. This is the issue of streaming on your computer. Hang on. What if I click this? It doesn't show me. All right, good. So, my maths teacher, yes, I'm a maths teacher. My British, no, my voice is just broken today. My voice is clearly broken. All right, where did the 12 come from? Let me fix where the 12 came from for people that don't know. The 12 comes from, if I expand this binomial expansion, I multiplied these two terms together. Okay, I multiplied this one, multiplied that one together. X cubed times, or 3x cubed times 2 over x cubed is going to give 6. because the x cubes cancel. 3 times 2 gives 6. I then double it, I get 12. Is that the whole question? I haven't really... Sorry, I started answering people's questions. Yes, that's all we had to do, right? Just evaluate, determine y. We determined y, we can't find c. Oh boy! Oh boy. Okay, you sound British. My wife is actually from England, and she's the main person I talk to. So she may have likely affected... No, I literally born and raised Australian. I did live in Japan for a little bit. So I think that made my accent less like full Aussie. It kind of like mixed the whole thing up a little bit. And then my wife being British, I think, you know, my accent like is just very sympathetic. Your viewers are adults. Appreciate that. Thank you, TikTok W280. Thanks for letting me know. Most free question on this exam. True. Hey, doing methods this year. What's one tip do you think that will help? Yeah, just do every exam paper. Like, to be fair, like just do a lot of past exam papers. I honestly think, okay, we'll use this question as an example. Like, so many questions in the methods paper. How long in Japan? I did it like I basically graduated high school and I moved to Japan and did it like total time. I did it. I had to come back. I went back and forth a bit. Total time was about like a year and a half of my life, I think. No way. There's a Brit telling us what's Aussie. I'm Australian. What's happening? Am I the Brit in this case? My wife is English. Like I said, my wife is. Extension 1. This is actually methods in Queensland. How did everyone go on HSC bio? I'm doing a gap year in Japan. Oi, good. Honestly, I love Japan. The 7-Elevens are great, honestly. Alright, so, year 12 Sydney. What year is this paper from? This is from 2024. My tip for methods, guys, is get, like, the finishing skills are really important. Your algebra skills, your finishing skills, it's so important. So many questions come down to just being able to finish. Can you finish? Okay? And then if you're good at finishing, then all you need to be able to do is start. It's easier to practice. Like, group the skills into finishing skills versus starting skills. And if you can see of it that way, I think that's a really good tip, especially for the year 11s going into year 12. Like, I could not recommend that more. All right. You look 19. Appreciate that. I'm actually married. The joke I'd only make is that my wife does my skincare for me, which is true. So she does. And I basically will pass that on as a compliment to her. Vector and plane calculations, yes, but I should say, guys, to people watching, I have so many videos on specialist mathematics, vectors, planes, all of it, past exam papers. The link is in my bio on a different platform, which apparently if I say there's issues, and it's like, you know, I get temporarily banned from this and all that, so I can't say the name out loud, but I think I can get the initials of Y and T. The link's in my bio, so you can have a look there. That might help your vector and plane calculation questions. So, I'm just going to sip some water. Okay, so let me think. My voice is dying. Okay. Sorry, I'm just choking on the air. Alright, question 14. These stats questions, I hope you guys can see it clearly. I'm sorry, sometimes when I zoom out on the iPad it goes a bit pixelated on the live, so apologies. I'm going to read it out very quickly. So, at a particular game at a local sporting venue, 60% of spectators support the home team and the remainder support the away team. A researcher asked 6 groups of 10 spectators which team they supported. Each spectator was recorded as either H or A. The results were H, a bunch of results. There's my results table. So, the researcher would like to see the distribution of the sample proportions of home team supporters obtained by entering the information into a column graph. The sample proportion of group 1 is shown. So, this question actually is really nice. This is the question I actually show. Free question skip. Yeah, that's true. This question I show to my year 11s when I'm tutoring to show that you can do stuff on the external exam. Basically, it's like, you know, I got 8 out of 10 H's or 0.8 H's here. I've got 0.122 H's here. I have 0.12345 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0.9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.5. And 1, 2, 0.2. So I've got 2 twice. I've got 5 twice. I've got 8 once already given. And I've got 9 once. So I simply am just going to go draw a bunch of bar graphs. For people that don't get this question, that is also fine. I'm going to see how well this pen works here. All right, I got 0.2 two times. Make it a shape. Oh my god, how messy was that I made it into a circle? That's insane. That's actually insane. Let me erase. Okay, let's try again. Really? Shapes. Oh, yeah, magic shape. Straight line. Boom. What is going on with GoodNotes? This used to be so easy to do. Okay, that's 2. That is 1, 2, 3. That's another 2. And then there's 0.9. Alright, well, they're all arrows. They're all arrows. Not meant to be arrows, but I hope you get the idea. Bro, that's Aussie's accent. Yeah. Should change bio to English accent? I'm Australian. I don't want you to tell me. I don't want me to tell you. I'm just losing my voice a little bit. I think it's making it worse apparently, and I pronounce my words properly, so apologies for exams he's using here from QCAA. I thought they had assignments. No, these every past papers on the QCAA website. Like past papers, click it. It's there, easy. Should teach our general class. Listen, not sure who you are, but I appreciate the feedback, and I would rather teach this, but I understand. Okay, done. Free question. People aren't wrong. Part B is just it's just whatever. It's meant to be 0.8 average, right? 80% people support the home team, or 60% people meant to be a 0.6 average. It's an interpretation question. We won't stress too much. We got confidence intervals in question 15. Okay. Well, I got 7.3k likes. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, here's the rub. Here's how it's going to work. I've been live for an hour. Oh, my voice is dying. I've been live for an hour. Hey, can someone mention in chat, have I mentioned that I'm losing my voice? Maybe 27,000 times. So apologies about that. So, if you guys could follow, I appreciate that. As always, thank you very much, M, for the follow. Type yes to confirm you're cooked. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I basically am going to leave it here. I've been live for an hour. I like to spend some time with my wife. So, we're going to leave it here for tonight. It's only 8 p.m. I'm going to method. Should I be worried? I don't think so. I honestly think that, if you can do the past papers, you'll be fine, right? It's all relative. If the exam paper's hard, it's hard for everyone. Keep that in mind. Maybe I'll just end with some exam tips, because there's so many people asked about exam tips. You're so welcome, Connor. For exam tips, okay? I mentioned before about practicing finishing skills versus starting skills. When you're doing, show you the avalanche question. What's the avalanche question? Avalanche question? Avalanche question. This one? Well, you know what? I'll go live again. How about that? I'll go live again and I'll finish. And hopefully tomorrow my voice will be nice. If my voice is even worse, I won't be live tomorrow. But if my voice is good, I will have a go. I'm sure it can't be too bad, right, Josh? How could it be? Will you be live again on another day? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get banned from being live on my computer. Just like TikTok just hates when you go live, not through your phone for some reason. If you have a Mac in particular, it really kicks off. So I might get temporarily banned, which happens a lot, which is why sometimes my lives are inconsistent. If I'm not, I'll be back on. If I am, I can't print out the paper. Evaluate the reasonableness. I mean, we're here. That's really funny. So, okay, here's my exam tips. Alright, let's end on exam tips. So, here's my number 1 exam tip. Well, let's get to something I can scribble on. I guess I can scribble on anything. I just feel like lines make it hard. Okay, I've said this before. If you've heard me say this before, then apologies. Okay, basically, here's the brain. Alright? There's your brain. It looks like a speech bubble, but who cares? Okay, fine. It's the brain. There's the brain. Alright? So there's the brain. There's the brain stem. I think it's a perfect drawing. So, all we have to do... What am I saying? Okay, I lost my train of thought because I started reading the comments. What's the trick to become really good at maths? Jake, the trick to become really good at maths. Okay, okay. Let's compose my thoughts and I'll deliver them clearly. The trick to becoming good at maths is 10 minutes practice a day. It's like getting good at anything. Daily practice, okay? So, what we need to do is, we don't know something unless we can recall it. The more we recall information, our brain goes, huh, I think this must be pretty important, because you keep having to remember it. There's stuff that you would have had to remember a lot as a kid, like your home address that might have changed, or your parents' phone number, or maybe your first phone number that you got, or the first phone number of your best friend that you decided to memorize for no reason, or whatever it is, right? You guys have contacts now, like you guys are a little bit younger, I should say. But there's stuff that you're going to remember for life because you had to remember it over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe it's lyrics to your favorite song. The key to becoming good at maths is to practice recalling. You don't know something if you don't recall. The tip about the brain I was going to give is basically two things, okay? For mathematics in particular, I'll use a highlighter for this. There is everyone has a different level of mental barrier to new information. So, new idea comes in, beep, smashed into your brain. Your brain then tries to sort it and figure out where does it, this is like an assimilation model. There's many different models for learning, but one that I think does work well for maths is this sort of assimilation model where your brain builds schemas to store knowledge and it's trying to put knowledge into the right buckets, okay? So sometimes when you learn new information, your brain just says, doesn't make sense, don't get why, don't like it, hate it, because it doesn't know where to put it. For really new, this is basically why specialist maths is hard. Specialist maths is seen as harder than methods because suddenly it's like, here's vectors, here's complex numbers. Sorry about the clapping in the microphone. Apologies for your ears, everyone. But it introduces a bunch of new content. Neuroscience major, perfect drink. Thank you, Ali. It introduces a bunch of new content, okay? And it's so new, your brain just does not know where to put it. This is why so many people find year 12 specialists so much easier, because suddenly we can build on concepts we learned in year 11, and we're no longer running into the invisible wall that blocks new ideas. A lot of stuff in maths is hard because it's new, and your brain just doesn't know what to do with it. It's not necessarily hard because it's hard, and the best example I can give for this, think about the first time you learned algebra. Maybe the first time you learned Pythagoras' theorem. There's stuff that you would have seen in year 8, year 7, year 8, year 9 that would have really been difficult at the time, and it's impossible, and now you look back on it and it's like, I get 100% on every question I get from this. It's so easy. And that's because now it is no longer new. It's familiar. So it fits into your brain, you've recalled it, it's found a nice little home, and it starts to make sense. I love complex numbers, Alice, so I'm so happy that you found complex numbers easy. I love complex numbers, I think it's great. So, the other thing that's important to realize, there's stuff around sleep too, like when you sleep and your subconscious ramps up and it can help actually get ideas in. The best example I can give, where's my, haha. All right, everyone, hold on to your hats. Okay, listen guys, I'm not playing music on the live because that's I don't even know what it's going to sound like, probably terrible. I don't know why I'm opening my guitar like this. Okay. Best example I can give, okay? Is this even in tune? No, terribly out of tune. But, when we play guitar, right, sometimes certain things are difficult the first time we learn them, and we get, stuck on, a chord change. Oh my god, it's been so long. I used to be in a band, everyone, because I'm so cool. You might get stuck on a chord change, let's say it's D to G or something basic, or it's bar chords or whatever. You go to bed, you wake up, suddenly you can do it, okay? Your brain does knit ideas together. The maths man said, Daddy Rich. Interesting. Okay, so, that's part of the idea, okay, is that your brain will, the mental barrier can come down when you sleep, but the main tip I was going to give about the actual exam is that your subconscious works very quick, okay? It works a bit faster than your normal brain. When you're stressed, when you're nervous, you're freaking out, it matters to you, it's very important. It ramps up, okay? Your brain actually works even faster. The reading time's there for a reason, or perusal, or whatever the hell you want to call it, okay? So for that time specifically, read the questions. Read the CU questions in particular. Also in spec, I love spec, Jake. Like I said, there is entire exam videos for methods and for specialists that are on my channel in my bio. Feel free to click on that and you will see that, and that hopefully will help Rose guitar too. Yeah, alright, do I do weddings? Yeah, man. Alright, so, read the questions, right? Read the CU questions. If you read the CU questions, your brain basically in the background, whilst you're going through multiple choice, you're going through the SFs and the CFs, is actually in the background, just flicking through a filing cabinet, pulling up, hey, I think this information is good, I think this information's good, yeah, use that. And you get back to the CUs, and this will have happened to you in exams before, you read the CU questions, what is going on? It's so confusing. And then you do the paper, by the time you get back to that, suddenly it makes sense. Or it makes more sense than it did on the first time. And that is why you have to, apologies, Sienna, and that is why you have to basically read the questions properly, use your perusal time. Thank you guys. So that is why that's a good tip, right? Use the reading time well. And then I mentioned before, practicing starting skills versus finishing skills. One thing I'd recommend: you don't need to finish off every question all the way, okay? Like a good example, if you flick back to questions we did earlier today, I know it looks like a lot of things are blank, but that's, you know, when you're talking. Like something like this, okay, where you're like expanding a square. This one is actually worth practicing, but you don't need to go all the way to the very end every single time. Like, if you can see, okay, now I just integrate. Trust yourself to integrate it well. Like, trust that you have the ability that no matter what integration question you get, if it's a basic polynomial like this, trust that you can get to the answer. You don't need to spend time doing every single thing all the way to the very end, okay? And instead you can spend time practicing how you initiate or start questions. That is my other tip, but it's time for me to depart. Hello, Lyra. Right, the issue also comes from poor basics. I agree. Like, I think in mathematics, creativity comes from mastery, okay? Like, if you master the basics, it allows your brain to be more creative with how it uses those ideas to solve complex, unfamiliar questions. So, quids, mate, honestly, teaching's in your future. I'm just saying it. You get it. Quids gets it. All right. Hi, T. Nice to talk to you again. They do. Alright, guys. I'm going to end the live. It's been an hour and 6 minutes now. I hope you guys had a great time. I actually had a good time. Sorry my voice is completely cooked. The water I thought would help. It didn't. And I feel like the water was making it worse. You're so welcome, Swiggle. I appreciate the 101 new followers. 101 followers from a single live is the most I've ever gained in a single live, so I appreciate that. I appreciate the 8K likes. I appreciate everyone who came and joined. I will... If I get time to do this again, my life's very busy. I will do when I get a chance. Otherwise, I'll be making videos for my other channel as well. Obviously, videos that I make there will be uploaded for the channel, the platform that has, the letter Y and yellow letter that I can't say. All right. Practice makes perfect. Yep. Goodbye, everyone. I hope you guys all had a great time looking at maths, and I'll see you guys in the next